Okay, so this video, I want to do a video on tuck planche because it's the entry. It's like where everyone starts with their planche training, or like maybe you're starting at the planche leans and you're trying to get your first tuck planche, or maybe you're just trying to fix the form in the tuck planche. So what I wanted to show you how it's done, how you can build up to it, and kind of any problems that kind of or things to avoid within the tuck planche. So first of all, I'm going to show you how the tuck planche should look. Did a couple attempts, hopefully one of those looked good or showcaseable. But essentially what the tuck planche is just like a nice rounded position. You want to kind of lead with your head a little bit, right? So it's like you're kind of going forwards into it and then you're pressing up, right? So for all planche progressions, don't think about it as a lean, right? That's how you get stuck. Think of it as pressing up, as pushing this way. You lean into it at first, but then you start pressing and resisting. And the planche is just about balancing that resistance, how much you resist. Because if you resist too much, you're going to go into a press. If you resist just enough, you're going to stay in a solid position, right? So think of planche as like a rocking motion where you're constantly going slightly forward, slightly back, right? But it's very small and very finite, right? It's very hard to notice that we're actually going up and down because it's controlled, right? It's with strength. It's not really balanced. Balance you can see moving a lot more. Strength is like it's very easy to just output the same level of strength. Think about it that way. You're always pushing though, right? That's the main thing you want to get with the planche. So how do we build up to this? Because even if, right, we make that switch or adjustment from leaning into it and falling over, which a lot of you do, to now being straight up and now just like learning to press in the movement and just constantly applying that press, right? Some of you may just be able to get that switch straight away and you're just like, okay, now I can tuck planche, right? So obviously give it a go, give it a try. But if we still don't have enough strength, how can we adjust to that? We need to get as close to the movement as possible. So you need to see within your planche leans how far that you're getting, right? So if you're able to planche lean properly, protracted to a very far point, and you still can't get into the parallettes, this is the only time that I would suggest using the bands and learning on the bands, just building some time on the bands. Don't go super high with the bands, just go with a kind of level amount of resistance. The reason that you want to learn the balance is because most likely it is an engagement issue, right? If you have a solid planche lean, then you are relatively strong, right? So we need to learn the form, we need to learn how it should feel, and then we can take it back onto this movement. So I'm going to use a very low band or very light band for this, just to showcase. You don't want to go heavy on this, right? You really want to make sure that this feels as close to the movement as possible. You want to get as much stimulus as possible, right? So if you're able to do 1-2 seconds with a band that is light, then stick with that band, right? Even if you can do more seconds with a heavier band, use that as your working sets. Get used to that, build it up to a time of 8 seconds or so. Then you should be able to come onto the parallettes without the band and just be able to do the tuck planche. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set this up. You can see how I've set it up, or maybe you can't, but what I've done is, let me just double check on the screen if you can see the top. You can't see the top, so I'm going to show you. This essentially is just a loop through, right? You pull that tight and then it's resistance there. You've got that all the way down. Now first off, I'm going to show you how the tuck planche actually looks with the bands. So that's how it should look. Very important thing is the bands are pulling your hips up, right? If you want to get good resistance, then you've got to push the hips down against the band because you're stretching the band. If it's higher, then you're getting less out of the band, but you're also stretching the band down, and that way it's like it gives you more resistance, but it also takes load off of your arms. If you're just letting yourself pike up or go up, you're just going to be leaning forwards essentially, and it's the wrong movement, right? It feels wrong. It's not right, the right engagement, but also you're putting a lot more pressure on your actual arms than you should be, right? Or you're out of position, out of context, and it's just a strain on the arms already. It's not really anything progressive. So push the hips down, right? This is with tuck planche, with advanced tuck planche, with straddle planche. And as a matter of fact, especially with advanced tuck planche, everyone just thinks, oh, okay, to get the legs higher, I need to lift the hips up. No, you just need to relax the legs. Anyways, we're talking about tuck planche today. We'll talk about advanced tuck another day. You want to be only using this on the low band to help you understand the transitioning period from not being able to do tuck planche to being able to do tuck planche without the band. If you can do 2 seconds on this low band, then you should work with this band, right? Don't work or do working sets on high bands, right? You can do engagement sets on high bands. You can just feel the movement on high bands, but you shouldn't make that your main workload. You shouldn't be working at 10 seconds, at 15-second holds within your planche training. You're not going to go anywhere. You really need your body to adapt strength-wise. You're trying to get stronger. You're not trying to build more endurance. Therefore, if you're not able to do a lower band like the red band or the yellow band within your planche sets, you're not able to do 2 seconds on those bands, then you shouldn't be working on planche. You need to be working on your basics like your push-ups, your dips, your pull-ups as well before. Build that base before you go on to planche. It will help you, it will assist you a lot more meaningfully because you can actually properly track progress. With the bands, it all just gets messy and it's not really training the proper movement unless it's close enough to the actual movement. Hopefully I'm still in camera. We're going to go through some common mistakes with the planche now. The first I want to talk about is what I was talking about before with the hips, just being piked up, right? You don't need to pike the hips, and you don't want to actually, as a matter of fact. You want to go in relatively low. With tuck planche, this gets even more prevalent as you go through the progressions. You just don't want to be piked or high, right? So you want to feel the actual movement, the actual engagement. You see that my hips are low, right? I bring my knees in for tuck planche. And then if you're looking at advanced tuck, I'll just show you a little showcase. You're not going to lift the hips. You're just going to relax pretty much. You're not going to tuck in as much. That's the difference. That's advanced tuck. But anyways, that's not a video on advanced tuck. Just keep the hips low no matter the progression that you're doing. The next one is going to be not having your scapula engaged. So the first one, I had my scapula disengaged. You could see I was retracted, or I should have been anyway. So I was sinking down. And then the second one, I had it pushed out. I had more protraction. What you'll find by doing this, or by having more protraction, is that you can hold for way longer. If I am longer with my arms, that means I need to lean less. If I'm shorter with my arms, I need to lean more to get to that balance position. Again, if I'm longer, I don't need to lean, right? You can see my legs starts drifting. Let me actually take this away so you can see I'm pushed out. Let me lean over. My leg starts coming off about here. I'm pushed down. My leg starts coming off further, right? So it takes more stress, or puts it in a more disadvantageous position the further down it is. I'm stronger here than I am here, like restricted, right? So you want to be allowing yourself into as high a position as possible. That's why protraction is important, right? A lot of people struggle because they don't have the protraction muscles developed, and that's why it's so important that you do your drills. That's why it's so important that you do your protraction and retraction drills, so that you can actually feel that engagement. You can learn how to protract and retract, right? So what would that look like, protraction and retraction drill? You want to grab your band, and instead of having it high up, you want to have it around you. So you're going to wrap it around you. You're not going to wrap it around the back of your shoulders. I dislike this drill because it doesn't teach you to bring the shoulders back, and a lot of people, they just have their shoulders forwards because of it. But if you wrap it around your hips, the bands are pulling you this way, so it teaches you to keep your shoulders down or depressed within the planche. You don't want them elevated, you want them depressed. So that's the drill. You wrap it around your hips, pushing up and then down. When you push up, you're trying to rotate the bicep outwards. That's the better position, and you should start to feel your lat engage as you do this exercise. What you want to do is keep this to a low rep amount. You want to keep it within like 10 reps that you're doing per set, or highest amount 20 reps, right? And you can do that within the certain amount of steps that you set, the certain amount of sets that you dedicate. But then what you want to do is just add another band, add another band, add another band, and once you get strong enough, you can actually start doing the protraction and retraction drills within your planche exercises. Anyways, that's it for the video. Hopefully this has been useful for you guys. If you do need any additional help, or you want some support with your planche training, your planche journey, then I have a link or a coaching link down below in the description. Just click that if you want some additional help. Thank you guys anyways for watching the video and just kind of liking, engaging, whatever. Thank you for all of your support, and I'll see you in another video.